What's up guys, today I just want to do a quick discussion on the whole vanilla servers and Nostalrius thing. If you're not aware already, a few weeks ago a really popular vanilla server called Nostalrius was shut down by Blizzard. They received a cease and desist letter and they was threatened with legal action and stuff. Now Nostalrius was a server that I played on, and for a lot of my old WoW videos you can see a lot of vanilla WoW footage. That's where I got it from, Nostalrius, because it was a really good server. It was very Blizz-like, none of that bonus XP bullshit or anything like that. It was legit, and it was very non-profit. You didn't have to pay for it, completely free to play, hence why it was so popular. Since the servers have been shut down, there's been an uproar from the community that used to play on the servers, as well as a lot of YouTubers that used to like how the game was back in the day but don't really like what it's become. And currently there's a petition with over 200,000 signatures that's going to be sent to Blizzard in regards to them actually making their own legacy servers. I myself didn't start playing WoW until late Burning Crusade, and I never hit level cap until Wrath of the Lich King. So whenever I'd hear people talking about how great vanilla was, I kind of assumed it was nostalgia and rose-tinted goggles. So when I heard about this Nostalrius server, I think it was this time last year, I really wanted to check it out and go in with a really objective mind to see if vanilla really was good or if it really was just nostalgia talking. The first thing I noticed when I logged into Nostalrius were the weather effects. They were so much more intense back then than what they are now, which is kind of weird. As technology's improved, you'd really think they'd add that back into the game. I can understand them taking it out at some point in the previous expansions because maybe people's computers couldn't handle it, but now it shouldn't really be an issue. It was just a lot more immersive and atmospheric. The next thing I noticed was how much slower and harder leveling was back in the day. As a warrior, if I pulled 3 mobs, I was fucked. It was pretty much GG at that point, and the aggro range seemed to be a lot longer. I really had to think about pulling certain mobs, especially Murlocs. Murlocs were bastards back then. But I think the biggest thing I noticed with Nostalrius and vanilla WoW is that it felt a lot more like a massively multiplayer online role-playing game. Especially the role-playing game part. Whenever I got a piece of gear or something, it made a huge difference and I was incredibly excited about it. I think I spent a lot of my money on the grey upgrades that you'd get from the blacksmith just to help my defense as a warrior so I took less damage. It felt a lot more immersive, everyone was in the world, you actually had to read the quest text, and it felt like there was a real community there because not everything was handed to you on a plate, so you had to ask people, and you had to ask people in chat to group up and do stuff. It really felt a lot more like an MMO, whereas WoW today, you don't really have many reasons to talk to people outside of your guild if you're even in one. You can do everything as a solo player. Back then, WoW felt like a multiplayer game. Today, it really doesn't. It feels like a single player game. At the same time I was playing Nostalrius, I was also raiding with my guild in Warlords, and I found myself wanting to play Nostalrius more than the live game, because all I do with the live game is log in, send my bastard followers off, come back a few hours and get that sweet, sweet loot. Sure, raiding was fun, but outside of raiding, there was really nothing for me to do and enjoy. It didn't feel like an adventure game the same way Nostalrius did, and the world was dead because every bastard was in their garrison, so at least it felt like a game that was alive. But in the end though, I decided I had to stop myself playing Nostalrius because I couldn't stream it and I couldn't make videos for it. And the server was gaining popularity crazy fast back then, and I thought it's not going to be long until Blizzard just shut this shit down. I'm quite surprised it took them so long, to be honest. So with Nostalrius getting shut down and the petition for Blizzard to make their own legacy servers getting really popular, do I think this is going to be something that's actually going to happen soon? Sadly, I don't think so. I think it's really good that the petition got over 200k signatures, because it kind of shows that there is demand there and money to be made in old servers. But I can't see them doing anything like that until they're finished making WoW expansions, until the last expansion has been made and they're ready to milk the community for the last bit of money that they've got. The reason I think this way is because from Blizzard's point of view, it looks so fucking bad that people would rather play an 11-year-old version of the game rather than the new version that they've been working on. It kind of shows that during the development of World of Warcraft, they have made some serious and genuine fuck-ups. Not everyone in the WoW community actually wants legacy servers though, and the main argument they have is they'd rather see Blizzard look at what made Vanilla and Burning Crusade so great and implement those things in the live game, which is a fair thing to say. However, I'm about to explain why they can't really do that. I think it's fair to say the thing that made vanilla Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King so good was the multiplayer experience. The fact that you had to talk to people if you wanted to get anywhere, and really that's how it should be in an MMO. But over the past few expansions, they've just added more and more systems which make it so that's not really the case. You can get pretty far in World of Warcraft without saying a single word to anyone nowadays. I think vanilla was the most loved expansion because that was before they added flying to the game. You'd walk around doing your questing and you'd see so many people out in the world. The world actually felt alive. You'd go to Stormwind and Orgrimmar and they were absolutely packed. You couldn't really move without walking into another player. It kind of lost that a little bit in the Burning Crusade when they added flying to the game, which kind of killed world PvP because you could just fly down, gank someone, then fly off again. Then halfway through Wrath of the Lich King, they added the Dungeon Finder, so you no longer had to make your own groups and actually talk to people. You could just open up a little menu, click the Q button, and be placed in a group with a bunch of randoms, and not even have to travel to the dungeon entrance. You could then do dungeons without saying a single thing to anyone. They also added heirlooms into the game, which sped up the leveling experience and made it a lot easier. You didn't even have to group for group quests anymore because most of them could be done solo. And obviously with heirlooms, that takes away the excitement of getting loot because you're just wearing one set of armor until level cap essentially. In Cataclysm, Blizzard decided to add the cancer that is LFR into the game, so even the worst player that has no clue how to play their class can then clear all the content and feel as though they've seen everything the game has to offer in about a week or so. Transmog was also added in Cataclysm, which at the time did seem like a really cool idea, but thinking about it, I think overall it's actually done more harm to the game than good. Before Transmog, you'd look at someone wearing a really cool piece of armor and think, fucking hell, what gear is that? How has this guy got such cool gear? You'd then go up to that person, you'd inspect them, and you'd maybe research how to get that gear, and it'd kind of inspire people to either raid or do PvP. But since Transmog, that doesn't really happen anymore, and it seems as though since they've released Transmog, they've got a lot lazier at designing equipment. A lot of the new gear that comes out looks pretty fucking wank in comparison to some of the stuff in Wrath and BC. I think the multiplayer in Legion is going to be slightly better than Warlords, but that's only because we don't have garrisons to sit in. Instead, we're going to hang out in class order halls, so at least we have the company of other players that play our class. But again, with the narrative, it's gone way more towards a single player narrative. Instead of being a commander, this time we are the chosen defenders of Azeroth, and we all get artifact weapons, which I think is so fucking stupid in a multiplayer game. If this was a single player game, sure, fine, makes perfect sense. But in an MMO, I think the narrative in WoW is so fucking silly right now. It's so cringy. But to get back to the point I was trying to make, all of these changes that Blizzard have made that have negatively affected the multiplayer experience in WoW over the years, they can't really undo any of that. They can't really take flying out of the game because there's so many flying mounts and people would go fucking crazy. They can't take LFR out of the game or the Dungeon Finder because again, people would cry, people would quit the game, and people are used to it now. You can't give a donkey a carrot and then take away that carrot. So for the people saying they don't want legacy servers and they'd rather see Blizzard look at the old expansions, look at what made those expansions great and make changes to the live game accordingly, they can't really do that. They would have to undo so many changes that they've done over the years, and the community uproar would be fucking insane. And can you really see Blizzard doing that? They don't really strike me as a very ballsy company. Just look at their updates. They don't really add anything innovative to the game. Most of the stuff they add to WoW nowadays is just stolen from other MMOs. So I just can't see it happening. Another argument people make against legacy servers is that people would quit the live game and play on the older version. But to be honest, if Blizzard are worried about that, then how fucking pathetic is that? That they're worried that people would quit the current version of the game to play on a version that's 11 years old or 9 years old. That is so fucking sad. And if they're genuinely worried about that, then how about they make the live version of the game suck less dick than it currently does? If the current version didn't fucking suck, it wouldn't be an issue. But overall, guys, I don't think the live version of World of Warcraft is ever going to be what it used to be. I think it's a sinking ship at this point, and I don't think Blizzard will ever be willing to make the changes necessary to give it a chance of being what it used to be. I'm not really hyped for the game anymore. I don't really care too much about Legion. And it's kind of sad that someone like me that used to fucking love this game just doesn't really care about it that much due to so many stupid changes the company's made over the years. If you do want to show support for legacy servers, then please do sign the petition in the comments below. It may not do anything, but it's all we can really do, so it's worth trying. The more support, the better. I know I've already hit the goal of 200k signatures, but any more than that is obviously a good thing. You can't really show too much support for these kind of things. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Please leave a comment below telling me what you think and your opinions on the matter, as it's quite an interesting conversation to have. I hope you enjoyed the video. You take it easy, and I'll see you again really soon. Yeah, fuck attacking this guy. Fuck that. We need to run. We need to fucking run, dude! Run. 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 I don't want to die. I want to spend my soul points. We're just going to fucking keep going. I think he's right behind me.